Hey guys, Nick Campanella here with Taylor Timepieces. Today I have something a little unique and different for you. I figured I would do a quick video on how I would build a collection if I had a certain budget. So today's start is going to be on a budget of $15,000 and basically what my 3-watch collection would look like and something of that sort. So my goal here is to stay on or a little below $15,000, maybe a little above, but around that $15,000 mark. And I figured that it would be an interesting video for you guys. So here we go, and let's start with this first piece here. So the first piece here is the Rolex Submariner. That is going to be the 14060. So the reason why I went with the no date over the date is just because I feel like it's a less cluttered, face on the model. If you look at it here, which I'll show to you guys, just something about the Submariner in general. I think everyone should have one. I mean, by all means, have more than one if you're that fortunate. But I think 40 millimeters is classic. I think that you can never go wrong with it. I think it fits a lot of wrists. I mean, on a 7.5-inch wrist that I have, it fits pretty well. Let me try to put it on for you. But it's got that I wouldn't say monochromatic, but it's got that basic tone to it, which is the black and the white there, and I think it's just gonna pair with a lot of outfits. Now, to give you guys a little bit of a taste here, here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist, and it looks pretty clean, it looks pretty modern, and the reason I would go vintage over something a little bit bigger is, for one, you have budgetary reasons. Of course, we're trying to keep this video on or around $15,000. And I just think it's the quintessential sports watch. I think that the modern subs, while they're beautiful and they're ceramic, I think that they do tend to have a little bit more of of an upcharge and a little bit more of an increase in price. And I think that if you're just starting a collection and you really don't know if how this hobby is going to take you, I think that the stainless steel variant is the way to go. And, reason being is because one, is less expensive, and two, it's a little bit more versatile. So again, I like the no date. There are people who like the date. The date's going to be a little more expensive, but something like this in very clean condition as a complete set, you're looking at about $8,000, maybe a couple $100 more, maybe a couple $100 less. So that's my first piece in the 3-watch collection that we have, is this Submariner no date 14060. The second piece that I have here for you guys is this Seamaster 300. Now, they just came out with a green dial last year, which I really like. I believe it was last year. It might have been the year before. Personally, I like the green. It's got that Taylor Timepieces green color. The green's going to be a little bit more expensive, but just any Seamaster 300, I think Omega is a great brand to have in your arsenal. And I think that if you're looking for something that's a bit of a dive watch, I think this is the way to go. Another great color is blue. They have black as well. If you're looking for something a little bit more monochromatic, a little bit more versatile, this green is really going to stick out. Now, the greens, like I said, they are a little bit more expensive. They're going to run you used probably about $45,000 to $5,000. As a complete set. If you get them without box and papers, it's obviously going to be a little less, but let's just say about $4,500 there. And again, what I really love about this is that rubber strap. It has a lot of play to it, and this particular example is brand new, so I will try my best to keep it on my wrist for as little as possible. I'm not going to put it all the way on the wrist, but I think that's the sports models here are the way to go. And just the fact that it's got that green, it's got that white. I really like the indices as well. Those dot indices. I think they are something that really stick out. If you're somebody who has some bad eyesight, I think that it's a great option. But just anybody, I think everyone should experience a Seamaster 300 in their lifetime. Actually, they just came out with the Summer Blue to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the model, and we do have that as well. That's going to be a little bit more expensive because of the premium and limited edition nature of this piece. But to just show it to you again, and on my 7.5-inch wrist, it's a 42 millimeter. It fits a little bit bigger than that sub. Obviously, that's a 40, but it's still something that I feel comfortable wearing. If you wanted to stay under that, $4,500, $5,000 mark, you can get something in black, or the other colors that they have. They have gray. They also have the full blue, and usually, if it's not a premium color like this green one or the Tiffany blue one that they're calling the Summer Blue, you're looking at about $4,000 there. So, you have about $8,000 in the sub, $4,000 here. And I think that's a good spectrum, because now you have your sport watch that you can wear on a lot of occasions, and then you have here your dive watch that you can enjoy. Obviously, not everyone goes diving, but if you're in the beach, or maybe just something you want to wear on a more regular basis than your Submariner. A lot of entry-level guys, they feel a little uncomfortable wearing these expensive pieces. I get that a lot from people my age. I'm in my mid-20s, and I get a lot of people that come to me and they say, hey, I want something unique, but not something that's a little out there, because they have situations where they're not trying to upstage their boss, and they say, hey, I'm thinking about getting a watch, but I also don't want to be super flashy, and I don't want people to know that I have money and that I make the money that I make. So what do you recommend? And that's also why, another reason why I would recommend this vintage 14060, just because the price point is just there. It just makes sense. And then the last piece is something that might not be on everyone's roster, but for me, I really like it. This is a JLC. I really love JLC as a brand. I think that they have some really unique and interesting complications. This particular model is, of course, just a date, so it's a master controlled date. And this would be the dress watch that I go to. I think my go-to dress watch brand is always JLC, just because I love the way that it looks. This is a 39 millimeter. Again, it's got the point clasp, and I think that it's just you have the crisp white on it. You have that date wheel, so that is not too large, not too small. And just to show you guys the piece real quick, it's a really unique piece at 39 millimeters. Most dress watches are a little small. They tend to run a little small, anywhere from 37 to 40 in my experience. If it's not a Rolex, dress watches are a little small. And then also, if you get looking at it, you just see how thin and compact it is, and something you could really fit under a dress cuff. I finally have a watch that will fit my aesthetic today, with the fact that I'm wearing a suit, and as you guys know, I'm usually wearing a suit just because of the style that I like. But as you can see, obviously, it fits very, very well. It's a piece that just really blends with anything that you put on, because it's got that white. Right now, it's coming in on this brown, kind of dark brown, a little black strap. You can mix it with a lot of different straps. And of course, this watch comes, as a full set with box papers as well. And what I like about it, like I said, is just the versatility of the piece. I think that not a lot of people consider dress watches in their inventory and basically in their collection as well. And I think that it's important to have dress watches. I know a lot of dealers who say we don't like dress watches because, they're harder to move, and because not a lot of people will have dress watches. You'll see a lot people will wear sports watches. So you have the Submariner here as a dress watch. I always say, as someone who's a bit of a suit fanatic and style fanatic, is to never wear a suit with a watch with a bracelet. I just always like it with a strap. Usually that strap has to match the shoes, but again, that's just me being a bit of a style nerd. And something like this, because dress watches, unfortunately, they do take, in my opinion, the biggest hit retail to secondary market. A lot of people get offended by that, but I just think that's the case, and I think that you can use that to your advantage. And something like this will cost you about $3,000. So, I just think it's a great piece to wear if you're going to a wedding, you're going to a special event, and you want something that can very easily and compactly, slip under a cuff, and you won't have to think too much about it. And again, most dress watches, they'll come in like a blue color or a white color, or even black, something monochrome. You don't see a lot of dress watches with these crazy, rainbow colors or these crazy complications on a lot of occasions. And that's just the way I like it, because when I'm wearing a dress watch, I'm usually wearing a dress watch with a suit. And if I'm wearing a suit, and if I'm wearing a nice outfit, I want the outfit to do the talking, and I want the watch to be more of a utility, more of a tool than something that draws attention to my wrist. So, I think something like this in the $3,000 range, that's the way to go. And there are other brands as well. Zenith, recently, even though they've been known as a sports watch brand, recently they've been coming out with a lot of interesting dress watches. Rolex has some interesting dress watches as well. They just discontinued the Cellini brand, the line there. Personally, I think the Cellini is one of the few pieces that Rolex sells on the dress end. I think the moon phase is probably the only piece that I have my personal sights set after, but I know a lot of people love the dress watches that come out of Rolex. And if that's your thing, I would recommend that you give it a shot. So again, that's the three watches that I would have if I had a 3-watch collection, and my budget was about $15,000. To recap, you have here your Submariner 14060. It's going to be the pre-ceramic version. So pre-ceramic is anything that came out before 2010, and just in general, I think it's a really hot piece. And a piece that is going to run you anywhere from $75,000 to $8,000, depending on completeness and condition, things like that. There are cheaper examples, maybe a little closer to $7,000, but usually if you go that route, you're looking at something that's maybe missing some links, maybe needs a service, is definitely in need of something. And unless you're a kind of guy that likes a product watch, I wouldn't recommend that you go that route. And then you have this piece here. Again, I like the green, and the green's going to go for a little bit of a premium for the time being. How I see the market going in the future, I don't have a crystal ball, but usually in my experience, most green dial watches do go for a little bit of a premium over their non-green counterparts. And something like this is going to cost you anywhere from $45,000 to $5,000, depending on completeness and condition. And the final piece to finish your 3-watch collection would be a dress watch. Usually dress watches I always try to be my most affordable option, because I'm just not wearing dress watches a whole bunch. I usually wear these other watches, and I just find that most people in general won't wear a dress watch more than they wear maybe a sports watch or a dive watch. And so keeping that in mind, the dress watch is always the most affordable option for me, and you're looking at about $3,000 for your dress watch. Again, I love JLC as a brand. I think the dress watches that come out of that brand are top notch. They're bar none, and I think that it's definitely a piece that you should enjoy on a regular basis. So So we have here, we have our three pieces, 8,000, we have about 4,500 to 5,000, and then we have about 3,000. Let's see how I did. If I, a second math is pretty early in the morning. You're looking at about 15.5 to 16, and I think we did pretty well there. Obviously, there are some deals that you can get on these pieces. All these pieces are available. If you can get them a little bit more expensive, you get them a little cheaper, but they're all going to be around that range. And if I was a young guy looking to start my first collection and I had three watches, I had a watch roll like this one in this nice Taylor timepieces green, I would basically attempt my absolute hardest to, basically have these three pieces here. And of course, if you like this, which I hope you do, there are other ones that I'd love to do. I was thinking about doing a series where I talk about, models in different brands. So you're looking at stuff like the, the $20,000 range. You're looking at stuff like the $25,000 range, and just kind of go in that vein and just kind of cover every single range that I would do, probably up to about $50,000, and that's going to be the most advanced. So every week or every couple of days, I'll come out with a series like this and just kind of talk about, what I would do, and how I would enjoy these pieces. Great, thanks so much. I appreciate your time, and Taylor Timepieces is always available to you for all your watch buying needs. Bye-bye.